seeking 6 years single tenure for presidents, governors, and local government chairmen. My name is Omo Efepiso Semere, and I will be having this conversation with a public affairs analyst and also human rights activist, the person of Comrade Gerald Okachi. He joins us live via telephone this morning to, discuss this. All right, just to give a background, to the conversation this morning, we understand. First of all, hello, good morning to you, Comrade.
Yeah, very good morning to you, Peace, and to our wonderful listeners.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. So let's quickly, take a look at the background, to the conversation this morning. We understand that the House of Representatives during its plenary on Thursday, that was yesterday, rejected a bill recommending a single term of 6 years for the offices of the president, state governors, and local government areas chairman by amending the 1999 Constitution. The proposed bill, which seeks to alter sections 76, 116 and others of the 1999 Constitution as amended, was sponsored by Honorable Ikenga Ugochinyere, representing Idiato North and South of Imo State, and 33 other lawmakers. Also seeks legal backing for zonal rotation of presidential and governorship seats, as well as holding of the elections in one day. The bill, in its general principles, believes that these amendments were to ensure inclusive governance and to curb wastages occasioned by 4-year periodic elections. When the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, who presided over the plenary session, put the bill to a voice vote, the voice of members opposing it was louder than those in support. So, in a nutshell, the nays actually had it yesterday as opposed to the ayes, right? And this has actually sparked, a number of reactions. Actually, it's been views and counter views trailing it. We've seen, the former vice president and also a presidential candidate in the last election under the PDP, that's the person of Atiku Abubakar. He has actually berated the reps for rejecting the 6-year term for president. And according to him, of course, one would recall also that Atiku had in October last year, sent a letter to the National Assembly requesting a constitutional amendment to establish a 6-year single term for the president and state governors. And in his memorandum to the Senate Committee on Constitutional Review, Atiku also suggested that the presidency be rotated, between the North and the South. In response to the House of Representatives' rejection of the proposal, Atiku's media advisor Paul Ibe, in an interview with the Punch newspaper, said the lawmakers failed to recognize that Nigeria is at a crossroads. In his words, it is sad, it is clear that they don't understand that Nigeria is currently at a crossroad. I would have expected that this proposed amendment would have, passed, to strengthen the polity and ensure that whoever is elected for a 6-year single term would be able to focus on it without being encumbered by the rush to seek a second term. And this would allow the person to focus on governance and not to be distracted, by politics and all the associated activities. Now, a counter reaction to that came in from Bode George. And of course, Bode George is the former deputy national chairman of the People's Democratic Party. In his reaction now, countering sort of, Atiku, he advised him to end his 31-year-long bid to be president. He also noted that Atiku's bid to be president dated back to the year 1993. Stressing that it's high time, the former vice president retired from such a contest, especially in the 2027 election. So it's more like before you remove the spell or scale in someone else's eyes, right? You should actually look inwards and try to get it off your own eyes first. That is the energy, this counter reaction from Bode George is, given. One would say. But we also understand that civil society organizations, they've also expressed, mixed reactions to, the rejection, of this bill to create a 6-year single term for presidents, governors, and local government chairmen. But how did this come to you? Did it come to you as a surprise, comrade?
Well, no, not at all, and never will it come as a surprise. First and foremost, you need to look at our structure as of today. circumstances surrounding our electoral system and governance. A single tenure of 6 years term for governors and president has its own merits and demerit. It has its own advantage.
Right.
First and foremost, you need to look inward, look at the, compare the advantages and the disadvantages to make an informed opinion. So, the single year tenure, if you look at advantages, yes, it can encourage office developmental projects without being distracted by the pressures of re-election campaigns. It can also, as well, reduce the election costs, because elections are very expensive. So it can hit the need for a second election and will reduce the burden of the government and political parties. Of course, it can also minimize electoral violence, malpractices that we have seen over the years, especially during the re-election period. A single term could reduce the frequency of such conflicts. It can as well, prevent abuse of incumbency that we have often seen. Incumbents using their power of immunity to do a lot of misuse state resources to gain an unfair advantage. A single tenure remove these incentives. It can also, improve fairer political competition with no prospect of re-election. The political playing field may become more level as incumbents won't dominate future elections. Now, it also encourages inclusivity. A single tenure certainly may create opportunity for greater diversity of leaders, allowing more regions and ethnic groups, a chance to produce leaders in a shorter time frame. But now you look at disadvantages. They include lack of accountability. Without incentives of seeking re-election, leaders might become complacent or unresponsive to the electoral needs as they don't face the threat of being voted out. You look at insufficient time for development. Complex socio-economic projects often require more than 6 years to achieve meaningful results. A single 6-year term might cut short the implementation of such programs. A single 6-year term encourages corruption, knowing they have just 6 years. Some leaders might focus on personal enrichment and aggrandizement rather than public service without fear of consequences. Now, loss of continuity. Frequent leadership changes could disrupt the continuity of policies, especially if incoming leaders do not align with their predecessors' vision. It can create potentials for power abuse. A single tenure might embody some leaders to act like a dictator, knowing they would face electoral accountability. It can as well, cause a high-stakes election with only one term available. Political competition for presidency and governorship might become even more tougher.
All right.
It can become a form of a do or die, increasing tension during the elections. Now, if you put these things together, you see that it appears like the disadvantages somehow outweighs the advantages. You understand?
All right.
The success of single-year tenure would depend on other institutional reforms such as ICPC, ESCC, and the rest, ensuring stronger checks and balances like we have in the National Assembly, robust anti-corruption frameworks and mechanisms for holding leaders accountable during their tenure. Without these safeguards, the disadvantages certainly outweigh the advantages. So it's not issue of being surprised with the Green Chamber or Federal House of Representatives, the majority rejecting the proposed bill. Of course, not just some of the things I just presented. The rejection may come in form of interest from the constituency they represent, interest from the region they represent, interest from the state they represent.
All right. Before we talk about, the strong, resilience that this bill has received or gotten, you talked about, this single 6-year, tenure, further encouraging corruption. The question now would be, what differentiates, 6 years from 8 years? Are you trying to say that 6 years is such a short time or a long time to encourage corruption, as opposed to the 8 years that we have now in terms of 2 terms?
Okay, I want to make a practical example of what I have presented. If you observe, majority of elected leaders are at the executive level of government, governor, president, or even local government chairman, tends to work harder in the first tenure, tends to commit themselves to better governance at the first time, because they are looking at gaining people's mandate for the second attempt.
Okay.
But in a situation where such is removed, the accountability will be zero. People will do whatever it takes to win, and when they win, they know that there's no room for continuity. It may result to self-enrichment and aggrandizement, looting, maladministration. So the only way we can even mobilize and give support persons like me.
But let just to interject, comrade. Are all of these things you've just highlighted, are they not obtainable with this 2 terms or 8 years tenure for president?
Well, it's minimized as of today.
Okay.
You don't look at trying to solve a problem. You create more problems. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
You don't look at finding a solution to a problem. You escalate the problems. I think the honorable member who is also I refer to as a comrade Ken Gochinjem should have separated all these bills, putting a 6-year tenure one side, putting conducting all elections in one day one side, and what other things he has added to it. Separate them. I'm sure maybe it will fly, even though that he had a press conference after the rejection saying that the effort has not ended. But I'm using the opportunity now to advise him on what to do. You shouldn't put the bills together to form one single bill. Separate them. Let's have a bill that makes it compulsory that we have all our elections in one day. You understand? It's part of the things that the presidency is using to do Chikami Atakayu with the former president Olusegun Obasanjo, that under his watch, he because of maladministration or how he manages elections in Nigeria, we have obstacle elections in Nigeria today. So they should look inwards on how we can have all our elections in one day, National Assembly election, governorship election, presidential election in one day.
But how realistic is that? Wouldn't that be too much of a burden on the electoral umpire?
No, not at all. How can it be? It cannot. It will never. It's the issue of now that we are even pushing for more use of technology and other devices to improve our electoral integrity. It cannot.
But it appears that the electoral umpire is overwhelmed, with the issues on its desk. So if you insist, or if you are proposing that elections are conducted, same day for presidency, governorship, National Assembly, local government, state assembly, and what have you. You also take a look at the cost allocation of running all of these elections in one day.
Oh, yes,
the manpower as well.
Far less. In fact, we will have over 50% reduction to what we spend. The issue of mobilization, transportation, logistics, security, it should certainly reduce to more than 50%. If you put my organization is an election observer.
All right.
We know what we see on the field. It will certainly reduce the cost of organizing an election in Nigeria. It will improve the integrity, because the idea of, like what we saw in 2023, you have the presidency election first before you do the governorship election. And once you make a declaration of who emerges as the president, it will trickle down and have influence on the subsequent elections. As we observe, in the 2023 election, we saw APC losing some states during the presidential election, and during the governorship election, they won those states with intimidation, harassment, suppression of votes, and so many other things.
All right.
So with that, it cannot happen. Everybody will focus on his election. Those are the state constituents will focus on their own. Those are the federal constituents will focus on their own. The senatorial districts will focus on their own. The governors will focus on their own. The presidents will now will be looking forward to a performance on his campaign promises and the debate, because it will even give room for what most of our politicians are dodging as of today.
And what could that be? What are they dodging?
Debate, man.
Okay.
Electoral debate.
Okay.
Especially for the presidency. Over the years, we have struggled to get the top leading candidates to come for debate. It gives you an opportunity to, weigh or examine those that are coming on board.
So, well, what difference does that even make? What difference does the election or electoral debate? What difference does it make at the end of the day?
It's an opportunity. In fact, it's the grand norm of the campaigns you are doing. The campaigns
so someone who is competent and perhaps not too vocal or outspoken, don't you think that would also, water down, his or her chances of, becoming a leader? If you insist on election debate?
I don't think leadership has more to do with your eloquence in speaking. Leadership is all about actions. You're determined. In fact, in this part of the world we find ourselves, it appears like we often look at intelligence to speak, especially English language. The ability, no, that is not the hallmark of intelligence.
Okay.
Or leadership. You may not even know how to write your name, but you may have that leadership qualities more than those professors that speak grammars and what have you.
All right, help us get sense. Help us.
What you have in mind, your proposal, what you intend to do is what we look at. What we are looking at. It's not issue of eloquency or your oratory in communication or what have you. What we are presenting on ground.
Okay, let's have a little bit of comparative analysis as to what is obtainable in developed countries or nations. What is it like in terms of term limits for elective positions? Help us get sense of these things.
I didn't get the question.
Yes, I'm asking that, is it possible for you to help us get sense of term limits for presidents, maybe in the US or other elective positions? Let's do a little bit of comparative analysis.
Okay, for example, we saw what happened earlier this month in the US. Before now, they have had about 2 debates with the leading candidates. That is the candidates of Republicans and the Democrats. And we saw what they presented to the American citizens, American people. You understand? You saw maybe the likes of Donald Trump, boasting that under his leadership, the tensions that are escalating at the Middle East will not be there. The war between Ukraine and Russia will not be there, and so on and so forth. You saw him presenting his intentions of abolishing some of the policies that are making people born where in a particular sex, maybe say a people born as a male converting themselves to female, the ones born as female converting, that's what is called a transgender. You saw him talking about issues of abortion. A lot of things he presented. You saw the other candidates, the female candidates, upholding what they are already doing. That they will continue funding the Ukraine, whatever that is happening in the Middle East, and so on and so forth. So it's not, if you come in terms of ability to use the right words and putting things together, you discover that the Democrats candidate, which is Kamala Harris, has that combination more than Donald Trump, that almost all over the world, people believe that his choice of words and the usage of words are just like our former president, who, under his tenureship, derogated Nigerian women, derogated Nigerian youth, derogated some regions of this country, like the Southeast. He referred the dot in a circle, and so many other things. So it's not issue of eloquence, it's issue of presenting the agendas. At the end of the day, people will choose. You understand? Now, single tenure, of course, can give opportunity to this. It will improve competition, fairer political competition. But at the long run, do we have institutions that can form check and balances? As of today, we are seeing what is happening at the National Assembly. National Assembly, under the leadership of Ahmed Lawan, was seen as Robert Stamp National Assembly. Today, I don't even know how to classify the current National Assembly we have today. Just yesterday, they approved 1.7 trillion naira efforts to loan more money to, deficit they are having with regard to 2024 budget that will be ending on the 31st of December. We have about 5 to 6 weeks to the end of this year budget, and you are borrowing more to fund the same budget. The essence of removing fuel subsidy, the essence of increasing electricity tariff and other things they have increased was to raise money to run government.
All right.
We thought that after the removal of subsidy, we will stop this excessive borrowing. But it has continued. It has continued.
Okay. Well, thank you for digressing. Maybe that was really needed. But at the end of the day, a number of Nigerians actually think that our priorities are misplaced. We shouldn't even be making a storm in a teacup over, term limits for elective positions. What exactly, are your thoughts on that?
It appears that the network is really frustrating on my own end.
All right. If you can hear me, yes. I'm saying that, judging by, takeaways from Nigerians with regards to this, bill that has been rejected, some are saying that our priorities are misplaced, that we have more pressing issues, to deal with, as opposed to, bantering over term limit, for elective positions. But is that the case with you? Is that how you see things? Do you think our priorities are misplaced?
It's a mixed response or feeling with regards to misplacement of priorities. The bill is as important as other challenges we are facing, but then I think it would have made more sense if we split some of the things we put together. I'm sure that if we split it, perhaps most likely some of the splitted bills may scale through. Again, this is where lobbying is involved. If we are proposing such a thing, you need to lobby. But then it will make matters worse than what we are facing today. Don't forget that this particular bill was some of the recommendations made by the 2014 confab of Jonathan administrations. But the only way you can have such thing, achieving the aim, is what we must have strengthened our institutions of government. For example, there's a constitutional review that is ongoing now. If we can look at this immunity that we are giving these executives, that make them look like semi or demigods, that make them do things that are abnormal. If we can look at reducing or possible removing the immunity, it will make a lot of sense. It appears like if you become a governor today, your children are untouchable, your family are untouchable, your wife is untouchable. They can do anything they like without anybody questioning them. That is the situation we find ourselves today. We begin to see first son of the state, first daughter of the state, and so on and so forth.
All right, comrade.
If we can look at strengthening institutions like EFCC, ICPC, BPE, Code of Conduct, CCB, and so many other institutions of government that can form check and balances, look at appointments of those that are leading those institutions without, attaching it to the executive arm of the government and making it public interest this thing. A lot of things will be right.
All right, comrade.
For single tenure, it will make a lot of sense.
All right, I'll let you hold your thoughts because we're due for a commercial break. When we come back, the conversation will continue, so please stay on the line. And to those listening out there itching to share their 2 cents, please hold your thoughts. We'll be back in a moment. Do join us again.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
My people, the thing where they happen for my area,
Do you think I will now find out that you have contract to bring fresh girls?
I brought you from the gutters. Who gave you all the connects? MDG who? Without me, you would have been nobody. But
Join Media Coalition and Awareness to Halt Human Trafficking, MICAT, on our Wish I Knew radio drama every Saturday at 10 a.m. Let us join hands and kick human trafficking out of our communities. I Wish I Knew radio drama, brought to you by MICAT, in partnership with the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, and funded by the Embassy of Denmark in Nigeria.
Wow, this feature phone is so good. Which phone is that? It is the ITEL IT5627. It comes with a 2500 mAh battery, which gives you 55 hours of standby use. Type-C charger, triple SIM slot, 3.0-inch screen, plus a 24 months warranty of worry-free use. Huh? 24 months warranty? Yes! Go and get yours. ITEL IT5627. New ITEL. New experience.
Please listen to this infomercial.
Hello Nigeria. Hello Africa. Do you want to work in the healthcare sector? Do you want to be a trained certified nursing assistant, medical assistant, or caregiver? If yes, then register to enroll for Push Africa's 1-year diploma in certified nursing assistant training happening at the African University College of Science and Technology, Abuja. Targeted trainees are unemployed graduates, O-level or ordinary diploma graduates, or anyone interested in working as a support worker in the healthcare sector. For details, log on to www.pushafrica.org or WhatsApp 080-339-42015, 080-550-45801, 080-339-42015, 080-550-45801. For registration, pick up application form at our partner radio stations or visit the reception at the African University of Science and Technology, Abuja.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Please listen to this announcement. This is to inform all business owners, whether small or big, companies, churches, NGO, association, and so on, that you can now get your business registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, at 50% discount and pay in installment through the Elite Business Consulting. It is a Friday offer. Don't miss it. To get your business registered with CAC, contact Abraham on 081 6169 5905. Again, 081 6169 5905, or simply send CAC as text or WhatsApp message to 081 6169 5905. Again, remember, if you don't have a CAC certificate for your business, it is illegal and you are missing a lot. Thank you for staying with us, and if you are just joining us, this is Eagles. Thank you for staying with us, and if you are just joining us, this is Eagles Outlook live on Eagles FM 102.3. Outlook live on Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja, and on the program today, the topic of discussion is how justified. The topic of discussion is how justified is the rejection of bills seeking 6 years single tenure for presidents, governors, and local government chairmen. I still have my guest who is actually live on the phone, Comrade Gerald Okachi, a human rights activist and also a public affairs analyst. At this juncture, would like you to call in to share your thoughts. 8 or 090-7353-0044. You can simply send a message or a voice note. to the WhatsApp portal on 0909. The rejection of the bill seeking 6 years single tenure for presidents, governors, and local government chairmen. Please, when you call in to share your thoughts, stay civil and avoid the use of vulgar language. Do well also to turn down the volume of your radio set so we can hear ourselves clearly. And coming back to you now, Comrade Gerald, in a yes or no response, I'd like you to be very, very, specific now with this particular question. Are you trying to say that it is justified that bill was rejected?
Well, I will say yes for now. I said use yes or no.
Yes.
Yes, in the sense that realities on ground, structures we have on ground does not support that, because we maybe the aim of those who sponsored the bill was to see that there's inclusivity in all regions, so that everybody will partake in being a president of this nation. But then, at the general run, will he give the general populace the needed developmental and the dividends of democracy that we all yearn for? The answer, obviously, as it stands today, is no. Because as today, we are seeing what is happening at the judiciary, legislative arm of government. Those areas are supposed to be independent, but they are not. Is anything that the current administration has interest in, that's what excels through. You go to court, if they have interest in a particular matter, you see how, let's use what happened recently. In August this year, we carried out protests demanding end to bad governance. And you saw how most of the class, both minors, we are kept in detention over 90 days with torture. And we have been carrying out conferences, campaign press releases, pushing for the release of these minors and the protesters.
But they've been released and reunited with their parents.
Just hold on. Not until they brought embarrassment to the Nigerians and the Nigerian government, to the international community, which malnourished children coming to court and fainting. You saw the president weighing in then. So, as of today, anything that one wants to do, if the president does not have direct influence on it, it doesn't work. We should have independent institutions of government, like judiciary should be independent, not being biased.
All right.
Legislative should be independent, not anything they do. If we have independent National Assembly, I'm sure that they will have a robust and exhaustive debate on the proposed loan bill that the executive and president is sent to them, that they just passed in less than 24 hours.
I'd like you to hold your thought. Let's take some of these calls coming in. Hello, good morning.
It's Obasanjo calling you from Amali, Niger State.
Good to have you, Obasanjo. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Princess. Our guest over there. Good morning, sir.
Very good morning.
Thank you. Like our guest said, a single one tenure for a president, 6 years. Forgetting that we have a lot of issues in the country that need to be amended. When former President Goodluck Jonathan set up a national conference, the present people, they were against of the national conference, of seeking Nigerians' ideas, either from the minority or from the populace, can come and rule this country. All of them galvanized and against the former President Goodluck Jonathan agenda that was putting Nigerians into a good fate. Forgetting today they are seeking the one tenure of Mr. President. Forgetting the INEC. They should go back to the INEC reshufflement. The activities of INEC. Does INEC are independent in this country? Number two, does the judiciary of this country depend on the constitution? Nothing. Then the Police Act. Does the Police Act also depend? It's what Mr. President tell them that they will follow. If Mr. President said, go and brutalize, go and arrest these people, like our guest said, the minor that been arrested, do you know how many days that those people are in the captivity? They are in the cell, torturing, without no food. If not God, we thank some of the media professionals that went into Nigeria could have not even know nothing is happening over there. But the few of us, we knew. Go to the prisons, you will see a lot of people dying slowly without no offensive. They cannot amend such of the constitution. They only single with their president, their governor, their chairman, like our guest said here. I said it all. This is what it's killing us one after the other. But our lawmakers, who we voted, who we stay at the rain, at the sunshine, voted them.
All right,
they refused it. All what they will do, what will make them to be being in America, they will do. Thank you.
Obasanjo, thank you so much for calling. All right. Comrade, you definitely would react to, his, thoughts, but let's see if we can take this one. Hello, good morning.
Morning, my name is Honorable Edward from Ekpo.
All right, please go ahead.
Yeah, you see, I appreciate our guest. He's actually making a lot of sense, but I disagree with him like 70%.
Okay.
One, the introduction of this particular bill is so suspicious. It's coming at the wrong time. This bill should be introduced after second term of Mr. President, after first term of Mr. President.
Oh, you think it has a political undertone attached to it?
Yes, yes. Some of us, I am not saying this based on my opinion. Some of us will listen to people on the street, will listen to drivers at the park, will listen to the lead people, all these children, all these people, we interact with them, we hear from them, and we listen to the big people too. We interact with the highest people too. And in political science, you cannot just be practicing theory. You have to practice the practical aspect of it too. And in Nigeria, by what is on the ground, by the research, those that practice political science practically are more than theoretical. So what I want people to know is that if, take it this way, and what Nigerians are saying is, if this gets through, then that means the president will finish his 4 years, and if he contests and win, he will do another 6 years. Then that is going to be 10 years. It's as good as a third timer. That's what Nigerians are looking at it.
But how do you see it? How do you see it as an individual, Honorable Edward?
as an individual.
Yes.
It's not even good. It's not even good. It's not a good idea because politically we are not mature. It's just that we are questioning the issue of policing, community policing. It's a good agenda. It's a good idea, but the governor will use that, to make sure that they win their second terms.
Okay, so to also conduct, to hold elections in one day.
This particular one, what will happen is, he mentioned something there that if most of the governors now, most of the leaders now, elected officers now, if they are there and they knew that they want to go for second term, they do a lot of things to attract that second term, election. What about this person who is comfortable? He knows very well that he's not going to go into another second term. What about him? And we are not politically matured. You cannot jump from primary school to university. You have to take step by step. This bill is harsh for democracy.
All right.
Go to have arrest numbers.
All right.
They did a perfect job.
Okay.
And nobody should come. The other side of it, it's not the whole this thing. The other one said rotational presidency, rotational presidency something. That one is perfect. That one is good. So that nobody will also consider.
Okay.
All this, like in my state, I rather say, benefit. We have John C. That is comprises of Idoma. They have never been governor of Benue State elected. I am not from there, but I'm not happy about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Edward from Apple. The numbers to call us to 090-8766-8888 or 090-7353-0044. You can send the voice. You can send a message, just a message now, to the WhatsApp portal on 0909-705-4450. How justified is the rejection of bill seeking 6 years single tenure for president, governors, and local government chairman in Nigeria, and also to even propose that elections, are conducted in one day? How feasible is that? And also talking about rotational, presidency in such a way that the cry or lamentation about marginalized region would be laid to rest. How realistic is that as well? What are your thoughts? Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes.
Am I on to Igwe?
Yes, please. What's your name and where you're calling from?
I am Kistadizin Omozazi. I'm calling from Suleja.
All right, please.
Yeah, I want to contribute my own with this issue of single term is not advisable in Africa, because the president of the country will now become a dictator because he knows he doesn't need anybody again for the next election. I may not do anything for that particular 6 years because he will not come out to campaign again. That's number one. Number two issue is that holding election on the same day. Our guests, I appreciate this effort, but they should know that this is Africa. We have the vote area where there are people who, even when they are doing presidential election, you need people to tell them that this is where Senate is and this is where member House of Rep is before they can know where to put their fingers. So when you jam everything back in the day, you make everything go confusing for them. That's my opinion.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. Let's take some of the messages that we have on here on the WhatsApp portal. This one here says, good morning, Omoefe. Concerning the issues of tenure thrown out, it's just that I don't know the senator representing my constituency. I would have wrote him, telling him what bill to sponsor in the House, because they are all completely inept to what we need in our political space to move Nigeria forward. They don't understand the urgent political matters needed to be implemented. What we need now is to strengthen our electoral process, thereby implementing, our electronic voting system that will resolve all electoral disputes before, and after elections, and reduce cost of conducting election. This is what will help, in sanitizing Nigeria's electoral system and reduce, the do or die politics. Single tenure is irrelevant at the moment, Abbas reporting from Dutse says. And Samuel from Kuje says, greetings to you, Moife. For tenureship, that's not our problem in this country. The problem we have is that we have politicians who are not interested in governance. They are in government for their selfish and self-centered ambition. they don't have any vision for the progress of the people they are meant to govern. So 4 years, 6 years is not the problem, but not having people-oriented agenda. Thank you, Omoife, and have a great day. You too, Samuel. Let's take this call. All right. Please do us a call back if you can, because we're gradually running out of time. In the meantime, Comrade Gerald, I'd like you to react to these, views that have been expressed thus far.
The point there is very, very glaring. The issue of having all election in one day. In as much that those electorates are able to identify where to vote president, senator, House of Rep member, as regards what we have been having since 1999. There's nothing there to add extra to who to vote in governor and the state assembly. You understand? You go there, you get accredited, they give you your ballot papers at once. And this is where sensitization and campaigns with regards to electoral values and system is important by both political parties and civil society organizations, and even the electoral empire. They need to carry out continuous voter sensitization, letting them know in different languages, of what they are to face with regards to new electoral reforms that we are all advocating for. When it comes to election being carried out in one day, it will reduce violence. It will reduce the cost of organizing the election. It will improve integrity, credibility, and a lot of things with regards to the elections we are having in Nigeria. It will usher in credible people to contest for election. It will no longer be a situation where you begin to face like what we saw in Ondo and Edo, either vote buying, ugly change of result sheet where you go to unit, what you see in the unit at the collection center which will differ. You see vote over voting and so many other things. It will certainly reduce the whole thing. It will certainly reduce it. Now you talk about the single tenure. Honestly speaking, I quite agree with you. So many of our listeners, who are saying that this is not our priority for now. But then it's as important as those things we are looking at.
All right.
It's as much as important as it is. You understand?
Okay.
If they can separate the bill and look at the most important, by the way, there are no perfect time for any bill. One of our callers was saying that maybe it will strengthen, making a president to almost stay for 10 years. That is, if he gets elected, that shouldn't be our concern. As the constitutional review is ongoing, they can decide, okay, if we are putting all our election in one day and making it a single year tenure, there should be collective agreement from the state assembly down to national assembly that this current government, we can extend the extra 2 years to your tenureship. You don't have right to contest again.
All right.
These are some of the things. It's just something we need to look holistically. But then, first and foremost, we need to strengthen our institutions of government that are, giving jurisdiction or mandate for check and balances, from the National Assembly to institutions that are fighting corruption like ESC, ICPC, and the rest.
All right.
We should make them to be truly independent. We should see how we make a very honest and determined reforms in our judiciary, where they will not be depending on the body language of the president or what the stand of president on any issues.
All right.
Say, for example, we just proved the borrowing of 1.7 trillion naira, whereas we have persons, individuals that can help the government to recover stolen money that have done it in the past. We have persons like Abdul Rashid Maina who on record have recovered almost 2.something to almost 3 trillion naira for Nigerian government from Jonathan era to Buhari era. And it's boasting of getting us almost 33 trillion naira. Why are we borrowing? Why can't we use these people to recover this looted funds for our own good?
All right, comrade. Because of time, I know for a fact that this is certainly a conversation that would come to, in the days to come, because it is still, being debated, right? Amongst Nigerians, and of course Ugochinyere has also assured Nigerians that it does not end there. I mean, the rejection of the bill. But let's see how things would unfold in the days to come. We definitely would call on you again, for more elaborate discussion on this particular subject matter. But thank you so much for spending part of your time with us today, and also helping us get sense of your thoughts with regards to the rejection of this bill. Thank you so much, Comrade Gerald Okachi.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. He's a public affairs analyst and also human rights activist, and together we've been discussing the topic: how justified is the rejection of bills seeking 6 years single tenure for president, governors, and local government chairmen, vis-a-vis the holding of elections in one day, and also zoning leadership positions at the presidency, and also the governorship level in the country. Will that bring about more dividends of democracy for Nigerians? But again, the conversation does not end yet. Do well to share your thoughts with us across socials on YouTube and Facebook. Drop a comment and let us know that you actually stopped by. All right, James from Suleja sent a message, but I won't be able to take this message because you sent it pretty late. But thank you all regardless for keeping us company on the show this morning, for also sharing your thoughts as well. And I'd like to state that the views expressed by the guests, the callers, and those who sent in messages were not influenced by Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja. Until next week Monday, I am Omohefe Peace of Semere. Good morning.